Am I live? I'm live. I was half worried I was going to have another issue like last time, so I'm like checking, to see, uncertain if it was actually going to work. But I'm here. I'm a little bit late. Sorry about that. I think those of you who've attended these a few times are kind of used to it. But it's an unusual um, it's an unusual what day is today? Friday. God, I need to like maintain my focus here for a moment. It's an unusual Friday lunch with Mal. There we go. I did it. I got the words out. I was gonna make my customary everyone. There we go. Friday lunch with Mal. I'm sorry, I'm not very exciting for the moment. A fuss about AI books and maintaining your focus. There we go. All right, my everyone comment is made. Now we can hit the bricks. So hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. I know is this the end of June or is this beginning of July? Right. It was a long weekend for everybody in Canada and the US because Canada Day is tomorrow, Canada's birthday. And then America's birthday is on Tuesday. But actually, fun side note, Canada's real birthday is not the first. They just didn't want it. It'd be in the winter at some point, but Canada did not want to have Canada Day in the winter. And who can blame them? It's cold in Canada in the winter. Having grown up in Canada, I can attest to that. So I got some folks are here. Who's here? Say hi. I always like to, see who's hanging around, chilling. I couldn't do lunch with Mel yesterday because I had some sort of strange um, Facebook temporary ban that like I'd violated some sort of community thinger and couldn't do anything for an hour. Actually, it limited me for an hour, so I have no idea what I posted because I hadn't posted anything recently. It's Jill and Jackie and Rain. Hey, how are you guys doing? So today, I mean, I don't know if this is still as timely as it would have been if I'd done it yesterday, but of course, one of the things du jour that's going on right now is this concern about digital books going up onto Amazon. Sorry, AI made books are all digital, right? Well, I mean, they're actually not all digital, but we upload digital content to Amazon, but it doesn't come out digital all the time. Sorry, that's just my brain working in strange ways there. But people are worried about AI books being made and put up on Amazon, and then ClickBot farms running and basically getting KU reads for these pretend books and making people a bunch of money. And I understand, like that can be concerning, especially if you're relatively new to self-publishing on Amazon. But this actually has happened before, just not with AI made books. Some of the previous waves have been things like people basically downloading books, pirating them, running them through some basic find and replace scripts to change people's names and the names of certain places and a few other things like that. And then they were re-uploading them and then doing the same thing, having farms that were, pretend KU reading these things to make a bunch of money. And Amazon figured out how to deal with that and they shut it down. There was a bit of a downside, which was known as the Great Page Flip debacle of like what 2018 or something like that. The way that they changed the way they counted at the way people were reading books, they altered sort of how they were doing it to make it so like the faster page flip method didn't register as page reads, which probably to this day has continued to impact us authors a little bit. But it's like the way I kind of look at it with actually, I'm curious if anyone doesn't know what the page flip thing was. If you don't know what the page flip thing was, I'll explain it. If not, I'll just mosey on because I'm sure people who were around for it definitely heard enough of it back then. Um, but there's always been things like this, right? There's always been concerns like, oh, you know, um, ranks broken, so my release flopped, or KU reads aren't showing up, or my you hear about a bunch of authors who get their accounts pulled for various reasons, and it can cause panic, right? You can feel like, oh my goodness, I've invested so much time and energy into this. And I feel like that's like a thing that we have as authors that maybe not everybody doing digital content has, because for us, the effort involved in producing our product, just like one product that we sell for a very small amount of money, is significant. You know, we're out there, writing a book, and that can take us, especially our first ones, can take us quite a bit of time. And ironically, sometimes later on, they can take quite a bit of time as well. And then on top of that, you've got all of the editing and the cover costs. You have a lot of upfront costs and effort involved, and you're worried that, what if I can't make this work? And it's very easy to become dismayed. A lot of other scenarios you might think, if you were to do some sort of simple out of your home business, I don't know, like making candles or potpourri or doing some carpentry or lawn care or something like that. Upfront costs and time before you start making money are a lot lower in a lot of those businesses. But other businesses, like opening a storefront, a brick and mortar storefront, have even more risk and upfront costs. So we're not like the best and we're not the worst, but I do understand why you might be concerned if you think that all of this time and energy you've invested could come to naught. And I think that it's really worth keeping in mind that almost all of these crises that we see these days have happened before in, a different flavor perhaps, but not terribly different in many cases. And the community weathered it. We figured out how to deal with it, and in many cases, Amazon figured out how to deal with it for us. It's like things like the click farms that used to, chew up a lot of KU reads and stuff like that. So I think you know, it's it's one of those, like, this too shall pass scenarios, which isn't always like the most comforting thing when you're in the middle of something, but it is still true, that we will weather this. And the indie industry is still very new. We're only 15 years into this whole, current wave of self-publishing that's going on. And we don't have a lot of, institutional history to say like, wow, all of these things happened before, but it is getting there. We can look back and say a lot of these things have happened before in some other flavor, and we figured out how to deal with it. We've authors are now doing things like direct selling using Shopify and BookFunnel, whereas before that was very difficult. And also, customer behaviors have changed. People didn't used to be comfortable buying stuff off of random websites on the internet, and some still aren't. But it used to be that if you wanted to fire up your own store and start taking credit cards, people were very suspicious of that, and and it would be hard to do. And now it's actually a viable possibility. Um, oh, that sucks, Jennifer. Yeah, the rank freezes are annoying in some cases, but I think you have to think about, like, um, all of the things that we do to drive our book releases. The good things are things that we really. Oh, is it quiet? It shouldn't be. I haven't had any complaints about that lately. The things that we. Now I'm like wondering if it's ambient noise that's causing the problem, because the garbage truck is like right out there. Um, rank is a measure of activity, not a driver of activity, except for in a few small cases. So the one place where rank really matters is if you can get an orange tag, right? Like if you can get an orange tag, and that will drive consumer behavior, because people will see that and they're like, okay, that's a measure of quality, is how people see it. And if there's a measure of quality sitting there alongside a new release, especially if you don't have that many reviews yet, then that can actually really drive a lot of customer behavior. If there was no chance in the categories you're in that you were going to get an orange tag, it's unlikely that the rank freeze has a huge impact on release sales. Um, the other things that Amazon does when books come out, sort of some of the organic promotion it will do via notifying your followers and stuff like that, happens regardless of whether or not there's a rank freeze. Now, sometimes that system does have its own issues, and maybe your new release emails don't go out, which is why you should always make sure your book's up on, BookFunnel, and your book's up on Goodreads, and you encourage your readers to put your book on their bookshelves on Goodreads. Because anytime, if your book is up on your bookshelf on Goodreads, or sorry, if people have your book on their bookshelves on Goodreads, it will notify them, and it will notify all of their friends when your book comes out. So it's a sort of a backstop against Amazon having screw ups. But if you were like expecting to get like a number one, in a category, or a number one in a hot new release category, then yeah, that rank freeze can really cause a problem. Um, I think, Kate, from a Goodreads standpoint, you don't have any need to go back to Goodreads other than just to make sure that your books are there before they release. Um, that used to happen automatically, and it doesn't anymore. Like, someone has to add your book onto Goodreads. But what you should do is encourage your readers to put it on their bookshelves before it comes out. And that doesn't really require you to do much on Goodreads. What did I do with my hair? It just requires you to, just to make sure it's there. Yeah, Friday lunch with Mel. It's because yesterday, Christine, I was banned from doing lives. Has my voice been better? I haven't heard any update on after Jill said that my voice keeps going in and out. But Jill is also outside. I don't know. She's like leaned over the picnic table or outdoor table and just doing something. So she's not paying attention anymore. I see how it is, honey. But the man got me. He did totally. I got zucked. This strange temporary zuck with no explanation as to why it happened. But I really do feel like there's sort of what was going on about before about how there was the page flip thing, and there's been multiple rank freezes, and there's this a current AI concern, and then maybe there's some drama with a particular author. There's always drama with some author going on, right? And the thing is, they're all distractions. None of them are helping your business by being, getting emotionally caught up in these things. That doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't keep your ear to the ground to understand if there's anything that might impact your business, because you certainly want to know that. Um, oh, okay, that's fair. How's my audio, honey? That was the important question. Um, but unless, like I said, so you shouldn't be like really concerned about. You shouldn't ignore everything going on, obviously, but you shouldn't allow yourself to get emotionally captured by it and to get worked up, and also to worry that the sky is falling, because the sky is rarely ever really falls, right? I mean, there might be some hiccups, there might be, some heavy rain, or a blizzard or something like that, but those are all things that we can weather. But the sky, to date is still there and hasn't fallen. And I actually think that the upside, the potential of self-publishing and indie publishing just continues to grow, quite honestly. Um, I envision a future not that far out where we don't even have to worry about the retailers anymore. The retailers like Amazon even are playing an inconsequential role, and we have more direct sale um, ability than we've ever had before. You turned off Wi-Fi? That's interesting because you're on your laptop. Oh, you're on your phone. I see. I got you. I see Jill with her phone out the window. She's out there working by the pool while I'm in here. I actually just finished rewiring my computer because I'm a huge nerd and I had to like make it so that the wiring inside and the back that no one ever sees but me looks really nice and tidy. So the audio is rough. You keep cutting in and out mid word. Christina's hearing me fine. Makes me kind of wonder if this is a Facebook issue or not. Is anyone else saying it's not great? Shoot. Why are you doing this microphone? I have this thing here because I put into the thing a lot. Okay. I think if some people are hearing me fine, it's not on my end. But I will do my best to enunciate and project. But you really, when it comes right down to it, your author business is really a matter of you writing books, getting your books in front of readers, putting out a quality product, and then like hopefully getting reviews and other things that will keep your product going. And relying on sort of, they're not magical, but magical things to help promote your books, like Rank and Amazon and release notifications and stuff like that. Relying on things that are out of your control and things where no one has to really be beholden to you isn't really a great strategy. The more you can be in control of your own business, the more you have direct access to your readers and ability to market directly to your readers, the stronger your business will be, and the better you'll be able to leverage anything that's coming your way, or not leverage, weather anything that's coming your way, because you can leverage all of the things you've built. So stuff like a very strong newsletter. This is really frustrating that I'm dropping out for some people. Is the video fine? It's just the audio? That's frustrating. I'm sorry. I imagine it must be frustrating for you folks listening. There's nothing I can really do about it, though. So, I wonder. Like Arnold says, don't get angry about things you can't control. Right. And right now, I can't control the audio, so I'm going to stop focusing on that. Um, so your readers hate when you do book funnel promos. You're going to need to better define what a book funnel promo is, Christina, um, and how they hate it. And I'm kind of curious about that. Hey, Kay. Wait, you're in Georgia, Kay? Oh, you're always in Georgia. For some reason, I keep thinking you're in Tennessee. Um, oh, cool. Captions. That's always a good note. I forgot the captions are a thing that you can do. Okay, so distractions, as we've seen, can like really derail what you're trying to do, and it takes effort to maintain your focus and make sure that you don't allow yourself to get sucked into those distractions. And the method for each person to avoid this is going to be somewhat different. For me, I used to spend a lot of time on Facebook. And I would scroll my feed and I would go into a bunch of groups and I would read all the drama and I would get sucked into it. And I really had to spend a lot of time disciplining myself and basically, thinking sometimes when like, I'm like, oh, something just happened and I want to comment on it and say my piece. And then just sit there and think like, do I really have anything worth adding that someone else hasn't already said? And oftentimes, no, I really don't. Or I'll think to myself like, okay, I have this opinion, but I'm going to get some backlash. Or I'm going to get some people that are going to be upset with me, or going to launch in a bunch of debates and be checking comments like a crazy person. Do I have things today that I need to do other than that? And the answer is basically always yes. And so I just don't do it. I don't get involved in a lot of that stuff. I scroll by a lot of drama now that I never used to scroll by, and I feel like my mental health and my productivity is far better off for it. All right. Do, do, do. So when you say, I was wondering what you meant by book funnel promos, Christina, because there's a multitude of things that people might consider to be book funnel promos. Are you talking about those multi-author things where a bunch of authors sort of have a landing page on book funnel and everybody puts it in their newsletter? Um, and then it's like, hey, go check out this book funnel thing to get a bunch of free books on book funnel. Is that what you're referring to when you say book funnel promos? Oh, you did clarify that. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of like, I'm trying to think of if they actually do have value or not. I mean, some people are just kind of whiny, to be honest. Um, you have to keep that in mind. There's going to be people like there's going to be you'll do polls and you'll say to people like, "Do you like receiving my emails?" And you're going to get some people that say no, but stay in your newsletter. Like, there's always somebody out there, who's gonna dislike something. Now, if your readers tell you like they really don't want that and they don't find that to be value add content, then I would certainly consider not doing it. Or maybe the promos that are out there that you get involved in sometime are ones that are a little bit too far off for them and they don't find them valuable. But I've always found that my readers, if I alert them to a book that I think is high quality and a good deal, they've always been grateful for that. But I don't ever do that as a solo event. Like, I never send out an email just about someone else's stuff. My emails are always about my things, and then down below there might be mention of someone else's stuff. So I think there's a lot of nuance in what you can be doing with your newsletters to make it so that your readers do and do not enjoy particular things that you do. Um, yeah, then I mean, if your readers don't like it, then stop doing it for sure. I mean, you should always be looking at your newsletter stats and like looking at the ones that don't have a lot of engagement or clicks, and then trying to figure out what you did that you shouldn't have done. Um, but I think, in by and large, still working. I'm not sure how we got in this topic, actually, how it pertained to what I was talking about. But oh, I think I mentioned book funnel, and you that was me mentioning book funnel and direct selling through book funnel that got us on this topic. But just basically, I think that when it comes to a lot of the stuff with AI, when it comes to stuff about book scammers, when it comes to people pirating your books and whatnot, it really doesn't deserve that much focus of yours. It's generally stuff that you can kind of ignore and just carry on, because people are always going to pirate your books. There's always going to be people doing bad things and putting up low content or stolen books on Amazon. And yes, I mean, it can, if it happens to you, obviously you have to deal with it. but there's no need to borrow trouble, right? There's no need to like have it happen to someone else and then internalize the stress of that event for yourself and then kind of have to almost have an emotional reaction to it like it is happening to you because it's not, you know. And again, it does matter that you should pay it, you should be wary of threats, but you can't be entirely focused on threats, otherwise you can't focus on building your business. And that's really, at the end of the day, the main thing that we all need to be focusing on is how are we going to build our business. And a lot of these kinds of threats just really aren't things that we need to worry too much about. I don't think, like talking about AI particularly, I don't think that we're anywhere near AI writing books that are compelling enough that people can make a living doing them. I mean, heck, books written by humans, books, and good books written by humans are hard to monetize well enough to make a living with. You can write a very good book, but then you've got to write it well enough that it's got a really good hook and it's got read through and it has compelling themes and the characters are engaging and real and that your elements within the book are interwoven and that you've hit the genre and trope elements properly and that your blurb and your title and your cover have conveyed all these things really well. So you bring people in with a promise of what the book's about, and then you deliver on that promise in the text. There's a lot to do to get it right. And I really don't think that at any point AI on their own are going to be able to mimic that, other than perhaps like direct ripoffs, which, will be found out and caught and whatnot. But even if you do a direct ripoff of a book, or not you, but a bad actor does a direct ripoff of a book, it still takes all this money and effort to get to make any money. Yes, for a while they might do okay with Amazon, with server farms out there reading through books, or even like a room full of people all quickly like swiping through books or something like that to make money. But that will get caught, and it will get shut down. And generally speaking, they'll lose. But that's actually one of the reasons why Amazon pays so far in arrears, because it helps them make it so that scammers never get paid, don't get paid, or are less likely to get paid for what they're doing. And Amazon can at least pull back, 60 to 90 days of the money that they might have sent out to a scammer and instead put it back in the KU pot. So in a way, that does actually benefit all of us. Oh, is that how we got on that, Christina? I mentioned strong newsletters. Yep, you're absolutely right there. I think Christina said there are a lot of fear mongers in there. Oh, you have to worry about. Um, let's see this one. Yeah, I haven't actually bothered looking at them myself because I just see what AI does. Like some people will write ad copy and blurbs with AI, and 9 times out of 10, I can actually spot it without even like running it through a checker, because there's just certain ways that the AI words things that are so generic that you're like, okay, either the person writing this went with the most generic options for everything, or an AI wrote it. But either way, it's not going to work that well. Um, the adult category, where most of the books in the top 100 is clearly AI. I have not looked at the new adult category. No. I mean, what they're probably doing is by getting up there, they're getting borrows, from farms and whatnot, and Amazon will catch it and they'll shut it down. Um, and chances are that the money that was going to be paid to these people will never make it to them, and it'll stay in the KU pool and it'll be fine. But this is a thing, right? Where it doesn't, where putting all of your eggs in the Amazon's magical promotions will make me books basket is a bad idea. One, rank doesn't actually do anything for you other than the aforementioned orange tag. I've spoken to engineers at Amazon. They've confirmed that they don't do anything based on rank. The only thing that Amazon cares about is conversion. When they send people to your product page on Amazon, do they buy? If people land there and don't buy, Amazon doesn't send them there. If people land there and buy, Amazon will send them there. They don't care about what your rank is. Rank is a measurement. Rank is not a driver. It's the cart, not the horse. So with the exception of the orange tag, if you can get the orange tag, then rank matters because that drives user behavior. But it's been proven that users don't even know about the bestseller pages. They don't even know how to get to them. Dave from Kindlepreneur did a big eye tracking study with people on the Amazon book product pages, and people never even look down at the rank of the book. Their eyeballs never go there, because you can actually eye track as they navigate the page. No one even looked at it other than like maybe a glance, and no one clicked on it. And the only way to get to the bestseller ranks on Amazon is to click on those three categories um, underneath those random book details. No one does that. So it doesn't drive user behavior to be high on the ranks. It's really just a backpatting thing. I mean, it's nice, right? Like I too am happy when my ranks are good, but it doesn't really mean anything. You haven't seen the posh going on? I'm not sure what the posh going on means. This, not sure what that means. That was Marissa that said that. I think you can use AI to help write your blurb. You're just really going to want to go over. AI, by the way, ChatGPT loves to make this thing at the end of your blurb that says title name written by author. Don't do that. The reader already knows that stuff. Don't waste space on the end of your blurb saying the title and the author of the book again. You know, that sounds so salesy. Your whole blurb needs to be an emotional pitch to the reader. People make decisions based on emotion. It's been proven in studies. 95% of all purchase decisions are emotional. So that's what you need to do. You appeal to people's emotions, not to like sort of a formally worded, this is what my book's about, and not to an e-commerce purchasing action, like get the book now, scroll up to get the book and click or something like that. You'd be better off saying like grab a beer and settle in for a good night than you would be to say something more commercially notified. Do reviews matter? Yes, reviews matter. Eva asks. The reason why reviews matter is because they drive user activity. It's a measure of quality. Readers, our thing with readers is we're not convincing them to part with, $4 or $5. We're convincing them to part with between 5 and 10 hours of their time. And if they need to know that they're going to like get to the end of the book and be satisfied with what they read. And so they use reviews and bestseller tags to have that indication of quality. And that's why, so reviews definitely do matter. But they don't necessarily matter to Amazon. Amazon doesn't care about how many reviews your book has. You can see books that are selling acres of copies and have no reviews. Because I'll swing back around to what I mentioned about conversion. So you think about it, like Amazon sends out emails about new releases all the time to people. Like anyone who follows you on Amazon probably follows a couple dozen other authors, right? And let's say 3 or 4 of those authors and you, so maybe 5 authors, all release a book on the same day. Amazon may not, actually, and then maybe they follow a lot more authors, but let's say Amazon can only put so many books in front of that reader. They can't send them an email with 70 books in it that came out today that they might be interested in. So what Amazon's going to do is they're going to look at all of the books that they might be sending to this particular reader and say which ones convert the best, which ones are the most likely to result in a sale when someone lands on that product page, and those are the ones they're going to send, because Amazon wants to make money, and they only make money if people go to a product page and click buy now or read now. So that's what their focus is on. And if they have a whole bunch of books and half of them, convert 1 in every 10 clicks and half of them convert 1 in every 40 clicks, they're going to send the ones that convert in every 10 clicks. And in search results, they're going to place more highly the ones that convert better. And when it comes to a decision as to whether or not to show your book's ad in AMS, they're going to choose the books that convert more or better to convert, because that's when they get paid. I mean, they get paid when someone clicks, but they want to get paid again when someone actually then buys the book. That's how they roll. Getting your book on Prime Reading, yeah, like what Jill said, they ask you. You just have to like be a good doobie. Generally, they're going to put books on Prime Reading that are higher priced. Like, so they don't tend to put a lot of 99-cent books on Prime Reading because they want to show value. So that's the thing there. Marissa, I'm still curious what you meant by haven't you seen the posh going around? I don't know what the posh is. I mean, other than like posh spice or to be posh or something like that. So Prime Reading is like, I've had it work really well and I've had it do nothing, to be honest. It's gone both ways for me in the past. So it's a thing. Yeah, Jill says, don't get too obsessed with checking your rank. I don't even know what the rank is for most of my books. And it's really interesting because I'll work with some authors and I'll look at their rank, as we're working on their books and whatnot. And I'll be like, damn, these people have like amazing rank. And then we'll talk about how much money they're actually making. And they might be making significantly less money than another author whose books all have nowhere near that rank. Um, and so rank, I've seen people with rank 1500, and they're making, on a book in its 4 books, first book one of a 4 book series that's selling really well, they have a rank of 1500. And I'll see other authors who have not a single book with a rank better than 50,000, and the author without a book with any books ranked better than 50,000 is making more money than the author with a book ranked at 1500. So the rank, like, it's a measure of sales activity, but it's not a be all and end all number. And lots of the authors out there who you think have low ranks, you look at their books, they're like ranking 30, 40, 50,000. They're 6 and 7 figure authors because they've worked to create a backlist that pulls readers through dozens and dozens of books. And a single reader entering anywhere into their backlist can earn them $100. Whereas that author who might only have 4 books out, or a small number of books, they might only be making $6 or $7, and maybe they have a really high ad spend. So maybe they're only making $3 every time they pull in a reader, versus this other author makes $100 every time they pull in a reader. So there are a lot of elements of your business you can focus on that can be far more profitable than like searching, like trying to get the highest rank. Oh wow, how did I not like translate posh into post in my brain? That makes a lot of sense, Kate. Ah. You have a lot of reviews now. How do you capitalize on that? I would use some of those reviews in your ads. Make some ads where the ad text is just a review. Put some of those reviews on the book pages on your website is another great thing to do. Otherwise, there's nothing much you can do other than just be happy that they're there because they're affecting people's buying behaviors. So K-Brat said, am I for using AI to assist in writing books, or am I against it? I have no opinion on whether or not people use AIs to write books. I don't think AIs will write good books. And even just having a good book isn't enough. So if someone is out there, the main concern I feel like for most people is that there's someone out there who's going to crack the code and have an AI write 10,000 books, flood Amazon with them, run a farm, and soak up all the KU money so that there's nothing left for the rest of us. I think that's the biggest concern, right? That someone could do that. And that's not a reality right now. And that's not something that looks like it's going to be a reality anywhere in the future. In fact, OpenAI has said that they're not even working on ChatGPT 5 yet. They have no intention of doing that. And ChatGPT 4 cannot write a book. And they're the most advanced chat out there. Now there are what are called auto chat. Well, there's a program called auto chat, and there are things like it that leverage multiple other AIs. Not auto, is it auto chat or auto? I think it's auto chat. Anyway, there's AIs that leverage other AIs to do things, but even they can't do anything close to writing a book. But even if they could, they can't successfully market a book, an AI book, and make a career around it and whatnot, because it's just not going to do all the things that good books need to do. Yeah. So I think that's how I see it right now. In a year, I might change my mind, but I think for the next year, I don't see anyone being able to even mass produce AI generated books of any reasonable quality. And the one nice thing about reviews, about humans being conditioned to trust reviews, is that generally speaking, Amazon works pretty hard to make sure that reviews are legitimate. You have to buy stuff, and you have to buy like over $50, I think, now to write reviews. And on top of that, if they catch any bad behavior, they nuke all of your reviews and they ban you from writing more reviews. They're very, very draconian about that. And so you can imagine if someone goes and pumps up a bunch of AI books and real humans start reading them versus a farm, they're going to get bombed in the reviews, and they're just not going to sell anymore as a result of that. And Amazon will detect farms. They've done it before. I've seen Amazon take out some really big authors and who were suspected of running farms, and then Amazon has banned them from ever putting anything up again. So I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to tell that. Yeah, I'm with you there, Kay. No to the flooding the market with books. And I don't have a problem with authors using AI to assist their writing. I think AI has a lot of good uses. Like, for example, if you dictate, ChatGPT can be very good at helping clean up your dictated stuff. And there's also another one. Oh, I forget who it was. It was like there's another AI out there that you can basically dictate like into just a device, even like not a phone, but just a regular device. And then you can tell it to add in all the punctuation and it will go through and put all the punctuation into your dictation. I think that those are fantastic, and that's a great use of AI. That's like, instead of twisting, you're putting up a barbed wire fence out in the countryside, rather than twisting wire by hand, you now have a wrench. You have a great pair of pliers. And then you get a better thing. You get a device that you just stick it onto the wires, pull a button, and it automatically twists the wire for you. I think those are great kinds of things. I think that's where AI is really going to excel. It's going to be great at helping us um, produce faster because we are like one person businesses a lot of the time, and getting something that can give you a leg up on some of those mundane tasks is fantastic. Um, that's awesome, Kay. I love the fact that that worked for you. Yeah, I've heard good things about Bard for Google, so I have no issue at all with this stuff. I know Jill uses it a bunch to help her with plotting things out and bouncing ideas off of and stuff like that. Uh, brainstorm partner. Yeah, she said that brainstorm partner. Um, she's got a lot of words here. I was reading it on one side, now I'm gonna read the other side where they can see the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, especially at the end. If you don't know how to structure or write, then AI won't help you write a good book. And that's the reason why I think that there's no real reason to be super concerned about AI. And I think it comes all the way back around to, what can you do to directly help your business? What are your goals with your business? What are the actions you can take to help your business? How can you analyze what's working and not working for your business? And how can you be in more control of your relationship with your readers? Those are the things to focus on. Um, I really do believe that there'll be a future. I think in 5 years, the retailers will be less important. I think in 10 years, the majority of book sales will not happen on retailers anymore. I'm willing to, I don't know, I'm willing to put up for that. Not a lot because the future is a very unpredictable thing. But I certainly think that future is possible where we don't really need retailers at all anymore. Um, we might use retailers to help with launches and whatnot, but once you build I think the 5 year point, we won't need, you might use retailers to launch, but once you build your career, you won't need them anymore either. So I think that's a thing to think about, that we are moving into an era where you're getting more direct access to your readers and more ability to reach out to them, let them know about new books, let them know about sales and promotions, and not rely on a retailer and their magical algorithms and whatnot to get your book in front of your readers. You'll have a lot more direct control over all of that. So I feel like that's largely what I had to say. But hopefully it's useful information and um, and just maybe a little bit of reassurance that the sky is not falling and doesn't appear to be getting ready to fall at any point soon. So, I think we can largely carry on. And also a reminder that rank and and actually even category pollution isn't really a big problem. Um, it is a problem, but it's not a big problem. So if categories get polluted with a bunch of AI books, it can alter the effectiveness of Amazon ads, of AMS ads. But if you're using your own direct methods to drive people to retailers like Facebook ads, your newsletter, swaps with authors that are squarely aligned with your genre and trope elements, none of that stuff affects you really. And I really encourage people to really focus on newsletter building as a primary activity. Um, when I release a book, and I haven't actually rolled out a book in a couple of years now myself, um, but I'm planning to, but I haven't. But when I was releasing a lot of books, I would actually find that hitting my newsletter when a book came out made me $8,000. That's like what I could guarantee. I could get more money from hitting my newsletter about a big sale or a promotion or something like that than I could get from BookBub. And the ability to like generate BookBub levels of money by leveraging your own newsletter is really powerful. And the great thing too, when you do that, is like, I have this connection, I have this control, and I can actually still have a career and a lifestyle that I love and everything like that, and not have to worry about being a slave to the retailers. And that's not something you can achieve overnight, but I think that's a great goal for people to have, to be more and more in control of your business and your access to your readers. And you'll be less and less dependent on, and therefore less and less worried about what the retailers are doing and what's happening on the retailers. Hey, Vicky, you just caught the end. I'm wrapped up now. I just did my summary. Um, Thanks for hanging out, everybody. This was it was enjoyable talking to all of you. I think we had good discourse here. Um, yeah, I think Vicky, that's something that every author can always focus on to great return is building up that newsletter, but building your newsletter with your content as much as possible. Building your newsletter up by pushing other people's content is far less likely to help you out. Like Christina was talking about earlier on, the thing we really want to do is build your newsletter using your content, and your readers will do well. I know authors who do stuff so much as like every single book they write has a bonus epilogue, and they actually make like this nice landing page on their website for every single bonus epilogue, and then there's a form for people to fill out to get the bonus epilogue, and they end up like building their newsletter a lot. And the people I've worked with who've done a lot of work like that on their career, focusing on building their newsletter, they are just sailing now. They can do so much stuff without relying on the retailers. They can do Kickstarters, they can do direct sales, they can do all sorts of things that just put them fully in control of their business, and that's the best place to be. And then you'll be the bruise on the. I have a bruise on my arm. Oh, this right there. That is a burn mark. Actually, I burned myself on a campfire surround. It's taking some time to get better. I think that's the only thing that looks like a bruise. Yeah, it was like 4 months ago too. It was one of those not a gardening incident. No, we have one of those smokeless. I forgot. They're like stainless steel, cylindrical, smokeless, little fire pitty things. Because it's not a pit; it's like a cylinder, and they're really cool because they actually recirculate the air and reburn everything and produce very little smoke. But wow, do they get hot? And I was like, I just bumped my arm against it while I was roasting some marshmallows, and that was bad. So. You never know what order to put the back content in. Oh, hey, Anna. How are you doing today? I'm actually kind of curious what you mean about that, Vicky. So you're referring to your back matter. So actually, this is something when I do ads work with people now, something I try to check on it like very early on is what does the back matter of book 1 in the series look like? Because what you need to do is, you're writing your book, whatever, and you get to the end. I actually really kind of encourage putting the words "the end" in it, or maybe "the end for now," or something like that, just to signify, give people a clear marker. So last paragraph, words "the end," some sort of break that you use, 3 asterisks, whatever. I use 5 asterisks. Some people use pretty lines, and the next words need to be, if continue the following the adventures of these characters, or want more XYZ, get book X, and it should be like 2 to 3 lines of text max, and with a link to the next book you want them to read. Ideally, book 2 in the series. If you're at the end of the series, then perhaps something that they might enjoy as well. Then below that next paragraph, if you have bonus epilogue or something that you want to use to get them into the newsletter, you can put that in there as well. I recommend only 2 links at the end of the book. If you put too many links right on that last page of the book, you're gonna put people into like decision overload, and they're just gonna choose nothing. 3 is your absolute max, but try for 2. Then on the next page, you can have all of your, listing of other books by you and begging for reviews and stuff like that. But make sure you do that stuff, last paragraph, words "the end," and then some sort of promotion way to get them to read the next books before the page break. If you have a page break and that stuff is on the next page, a lot of readers will never see it because Amazon's going to show them an ad for a book before that. Once people get to the end of the book, before they see any back matter, people see an ad. I'm sure you've all seen it. And sometimes it's not for your books. So you really want to make sure that you give people the action you want them to take very clearly. So, since I put pre-order as the first back matter item, I've got fewer newsletter signups. Yeah, you will see that. So you could put the in your forward for the next book, put the book, remind them there was a bonus epilogue or something like that. I think personally, I would always rather have people go on to read the next book than join my newsletter. That is still a preferred action for me because joining my newsletter doesn't make me any money right now. And once I've got people reading, I want to make money off of them right away. Also, when you put in a link for a pre-order, don't ever use the words pre-order. If you have if book 2, you just released book 2 and book 3 is 4 months out, your link at the back of the book should be click here to get book 3. it should not be click here to pre-order book 3, because you want to catch them while they have an emotional high. I mean, the words pre-order are a blocker for action. Also, you're going to forget to update the back matter, or you probably will forget to update the back matter, and it will say pre-order for far longer than it should. Also, Amazon doesn't update the back matter, so even after you change it, anybody that previously got the book and they flip to the back matter, it's still going to say pre-order. You don't want that, so never say pre-order in your back matter. Always just list the book as if it's out. I don't know, not seeing. No one else has mentioned the screen going black. Anna, put the freebie newsletter sign up offer in the front too. Yeah, on the front. Buy next one. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you like that wording, Vicky. All right, I do have to go though, because I've got a host of things I have to do this afternoon. One of them being I have to re-record, or possibly just touch up and edit a recording for InkersCon, because Digital InkersCon is coming soon. I think it's like just in a few days. If I missed my guess, when is the Digital InkersCon coming? Because I know a lot of people really like the InkersCon, July 22nd. So, and the digital event for InkersCon is actually a ton of fun. It's got they have roundtables. It's not just here's all the videos recorded. It's got a lot of content in it. That is, I think it's one of the better run digital conferences out there. I have 2 sessions in the Digital InkersCon. One of them is a beginner's walkthrough of how to create ads and explaining the whole ads interface and what you should do and shouldn't do. And the second one is a more advanced class talking about how to analyze ads and what the numbers mean and what you should pay attention to when you're analyzing your Facebook ads. And in the description for this live stream, there's a link to get on InkersCon and a promo code of Writing Wives 23. I think it has to be all caps, but Writing Wives 23, no spaces, and that gets you $50 off your ticket to InkersCon. So if you're thinking about going, I recommend it. I think it's the best digital con out there. Alessandra she has studio quality recordings being done when you're there. You should see the setups that she has in the rooms. There's a platform in the back with really high-end professional studio cameras on it and stuff like that, and people checking sound and recording from multiple angles and all sorts of things. It's amazing, quite honestly. So you get really good video, and then a lot of the authors or a lot of the presenters are actually around a lot too in the digital event to answer additional questions and whatnot. So it's a great con to be a part of. So inkerscon.com, and then when you sign up, use Writing Wives 23 for $50 off. So all right. Dun, dun, dun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Christina. I wish we could have spent more time chatting, but it went so fast. Yeah, it's my favorite in-person con as well. I love it. But I do have to go. So it was great chatting with you. I hope everybody is be a little more chill about a lot of the AI concerns that are out there, and we all just really just focus on managing our businesses, getting more direct access to our readers by doing all the different tactics we talked about, and not really worrying about AI and things that we can't control. Someone can always replicate your product. I think that's something I learned working in business. No matter what you make, someone can replicate your product. And chances are, because they didn't have to do all the work to make your product, to do the first iterations, they can replicate your product more easily than you were able to make it in the first place. The way that you win is quality and longevity, because people see longevity as quality. So quality and longevity are the ways to win, and that's what you need to focus on. Doing quality work. Quality work gives you longevity, and both of those things give people more confidence in your product and more likely to buy and read your books. So just remember that you can always quality and focus on your business and your customers, which in our case are our readers, is the way to win. All right, see you guys. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic long weekend for everybody in Canada and the United States, and hopefully a great weekend everywhere else too, whether it's long or not. All right, bye.